So good morning, everybody. And for everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We've got a busy morning. And Taj, I don't know if I mentioned it to you already. Today we've got an IPO that is going to be heavily traded today and with a lot of anticipation. So guys, you guys know by now, if you don't know already, I love trading IPOs. IPOs are extremely fun to trade. And the IPO that I'm watching today is AFRM. The IPO price is at $49. And there's a lot of different ways to trade IPOs, right? But there's specific things that I personally look for that helps me be very successful with IPO trading right when it opens up. A couple of you were there with me when I traded Airbnb, and that was an amazing trade. If I remember correctly, ODK and Lance, I know you guys were there with me when we traded Airbnb, and we nailed it so good. I mean, at the opening, we nailed it for 10 points profit, $10 per share that we took on that trade. Keep in mind, when stocks go on their initial public offering, options are not available. You do have to buy equity. You have to go in with shares. That's the only downside to IPOs. So, if you're willing to trade this IPO with me today, I'm going to wait. I'm going to have a chart opened up for it and just wait until it opens. It's scheduled to open at $49. I'm sure the bid and ask is going to increase as it gets closer to the opening. But AFRM, keep an eye on it. And I look for specific things. As we get closer to it, I will let you guys know exactly what it is. But rule number one, I trade on the 1 minute time frame with IPOs. Rule number two, I want to see the opening volume to be a minimum 20% of the shares outstanding. 20% of the shares outstanding is what I look for, because if there's over 20% demand in the opening minute, that's going to give a really strong indication that the demand for these shares are really high. So that's that. The S&P 500. I'm going to keep an eye on the overall markets today. Markets are slowing down in the sense of there's overhead pressure on the S&P 500. It's slowly trying to grind higher, but it's met a little bit of resistance here at the 3,800, 3,820 range. And as you guys know, you can go long the SPY, you can short the SPY and make really good money. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I think as we get closer to earnings season gets kicked off this Friday. Volatility is going to kick in because then valuation questions are going to come into play. A lot of analysts are still questioning the valuation of the overall market, and interest rates are pushing higher. If interest rates are pushing higher, debt becomes more expensive, which is a higher cost for companies overall. So there's just a lot going on, and we just need to keep that in mind. So the volatility that the S&P 500 provides is something that I'm going to be trading today. Another name, you know it, is Tesla. I like Tesla. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Right now, I like this small consolidation that's created. If it trades above 849, go long. If it trades below 844, go short. Put your stops at the top of the range, or if it goes long, put your stops on the bottom of the range. And I just like this tight consolidation that's created. Very small range for an $800 stock. Another name that I really like today, NIO. NIO, we've been playing it for many days now, and it's also in a tight consolidation. If it breaks above 62.50, go long. Put your stops at 62.20, right where it's trading at right now. That's a 30-cent risk on the stock. If it does break below 62, we could potentially go short. First target is 61.64. That's what I'm looking at. Another name is Plug. Plug right now is a beast. This is this is going to be an A-list stock for me. So it's run up really a lot. Pull up a daily chart on this. This is a hockey stick. This is what you call a hockey stick. This has gone parabolic. Look at the RSI on the daily, 90.16. The Bollinger Band on this, let me show it really quickly. The upper Bollinger Band is at 63. it's trading 7 points above the upper Bollinger Band. So I personally would love plug to rip. You know why? Because I'm going to buy some puts on it and swing the puts. Because this has gone up way too much, way too fast. So for me personally, let's ride it up. I would love for it to ride up. And then towards, once I see some topping action, I'll buy some like $70 puts, buy them a month out just to give me some time and to prevent the time decay from killing me. And swinging those puts, maybe it could fall back to like 66 or 65, right? But at the moment, if it trades below $70, we can short it, and we can put our stops at like 71, so that is a dollar range. If it rips, breaks out of 71.89, man, we can go long and take this sucker long. So plug is definitely going to be in play today. Another stock that I really like is WIMI, W-I-M-I. Closed yesterday at $6.27, trading at $8.47. This stock is a very small float stock. I mean, let me put it on the Discord here on the channel. Short interest WIMI. It's going to give us the information on the stock here. If the last time I checked, this thing had like less than 6 million shares outstanding. Yep, 5.5 million shares. Let me tell you something.
Jeez.
If this stock gets momentum behind it, we can see this stock rip. I'm talking $10+. This is one of those short float, small cap stocks that can really, really rip to the upside. Now, it needs momentum behind it, right? We need to see the pattern, we need to see the momentum and rip to the upside. The same could be said for the downside. Because it's such a small float, if this thing starts selling off, you can even see this trade back down to $7 or maybe upper $6. Be careful with it. Be careful with it. If you're going to trade it, keep it on a tight leash. Keep it on a tight range and don't risk more than you can afford. I'm going to keep an eye on it because if we see some curling action and this thing is going to rip past, $9.10, which is pre-market high, I see $10 very easily on it, and probably even more. It has a gap to fill in the $10 range. If you pull up a $180 chart on the daily, you can see a gap that it needs to fill in the $10 range. So I like the WIMI. I think I'm gonna keep it on my A list actually. There goes Tesla breaking out of my trigger of 849. So Tesla is already doing what I wanted it to do. Another name, GOEV. Closed yesterday at 1672, gapping up to 1967. Pre-market high 2185. What do I like about this? A lot of range, a lot of activity, a lot of trading. This is the type of activity that you want to see in pre-market. So this is an A list for me. Right now, if it were to break above $20, you can go long, put your stops at like 1980, 1970, and 30-cent risk for potential move to the upside. Maybe you can trade it to $21. If it starts selling off, to me, if it breaks below 1940 range, you could probably trade it back down to $19, potentially even down to 1830, 1840. So that's the idea that I've got for it. If GOEV gets a bid under it and momentum kicks in, I mean, of course we're going to look for it to break the pre-market highs for more rip to the upside. But the entry point on it is going to be at around $20 if we see a rip to the upside. So keep an eye on this one. I really, really like it. Some other names, I'm not going to have enough time to go over it because I want to give Taj his proper time. But Baidu right now gapping up, very low volume. I'm going to keep an eye on this one because a lot of range that it provides. Potentially PDD as well. It's got a price target upgrade today. If you guys saw on the upgrades and downgrades channel, I'm going to keep an eye on this stock for a potential move to the upside. Another name that I'm watching is PLTR. Citibank comes out and downgrades it to $15. Citibank is a tier 1 firm that I really like, and their upgrades and downgrades are powerful. Just like with Bank of America, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. So PLTR is just going to be in play today. Right now, it's bouncing a little bit from that earlier sell-off. So if it breaks above, 25.70, 25.75, we can go long. Put your stops at 25.50. That's a very small risk. There goes Tesla. Bye-bye. So Tesla's doing what I wanted it to do. And if we see PLTR fail, break below 25.38 or 25.35, that little range right there, we can go short. Put your stops at 25.50, right? You're only risking 15 cents. And then the first target is to trade lower, break 25 for a short. However, I don't care where it goes, whether it goes up or down. I'm just marking the levels that I'm seeing that could trigger a trade. So with that being said, let me transition over to Taj so that he can go over his stocks. So
yeah, a couple of names that I'll be keeping an eye on today. Actually, one that's just started moving is AMD. AMD over the past 20 minutes has gone from 95.50 all the way down to 91.
Ooh.
So this thing had a huge drop off. It's based on the news that CNBC reported Intel CEO Bob Swan will be replaced by my man Pat, right? Let's not even go with the last name. But anyway, Pat's coming in, and it looks like the market is reacting. A lot of competitors are taking a hit, AMD being one of which. Intel actually just had a huge igniting bar on the 5-minute. It just ripped up nearly 10 points. And this is a $50 stock. Just rallied up to 60 points. So these two names will be on my watch list for sure. Intel is doing an insane amount of volume right now. We just did nearly 5 million shares on one candlestick, did 4.6 million, another one 4.1 million. So there's a lot of trading activity going on with this stock. So definitely keep your eye out on both Intel and AMD. Probably more so Intel than AMD because the news is specifically for Intel. The AMD is more of a reaction to the news of one of the competitors. But the way I would play it, we can look to buy if it breaks out above around 60.20 again. Play stops at whatever the low is. I would prefer some type of consolidation to happen before we get a move to the upside. But let's watch it. There's going to be a lot of price action going on with this stock. And if you look on the daily chart, there is a huge gap to fill here, which I actually think it filled just through the pre-market data. Yeah, it did. Wow. So the next resistance point is going to be around $62. That's going to be the daily resistance. Has the 200 MA right above the current price. It actually just broke out of the 200 MA. The current price, yeah, as of yesterday, it was the closing price, but it just completely broke out, and Intel is on fire right now. So definitely keep an eye on INTC.
Yeah, I like it.
As well as AMD. AMD had an initial reaction. Like I said, it sold off to $91. I actually would have saw that as a buy opportunity. Yep. Because the news is not directly affecting AMD for the most part. It's a competitor. It's just an announcement of the CEO. So I would be more inclined to go long AMD out of the gates. It's within a range right now. That was a significant drop off that it had. So let's wait. Give the stock a few minutes to find some support. Right now the support is around $91. But like I said, if you were to play it long initially right out of the gates, you would have to throw your stops at around $91. That's a 2.5 point risk on AMD. That's not where you want to be on a stock like this. Yeah. So let's give it some time. There's really no clear way to enter the stock as of now. But let's just keep it on our radar. Let's have that on our B list, and let's keep Intel on our A list. Another name I like is a name we traded yesterday, STPK. STPK somehow is gapping up again. Yeah. After everything that happened yesterday, initially we had the sell-off yesterday, and it kind of continued that way until around 3 o'clock. It actually rallied back up to the intraday highs, and we're actually getting another gap up. The closing price yesterday was $36. It's currently trading about 2.5 points higher. We're trading at 220, 230 range. And I like what it's doing during the pre-market action. We have a pre-market high of 38.72. So the way that we could play it, we could play longs around 38.60, 38.70, play stops around 37.80. So you're looking about a little less than a point risk, but hey, this stock's on fire, you know?
And
the thing that,
Citron has a $100 price target on it.
oh, well, yeah, there you go. You know, that goes to show like how, you know, how much power a short seller has to say when you you know, $100 price target, and this guy's a short seller. So he usually has a negative view on stocks, and he's like, oh, this one's actually good.
Exactly.
But one thing that I want to caution about STPK as well as Plug is, guys, with these names, if we do play them to the upside, let's get ready to take profits quick on it.
Yep.
Alex referenced the Bollinger Band and the RSI on Plug, and he's spot on. You know, there's one thing to buy a stock when the RSI is around 70, 75, right? You're starting to get into overbought territory.
Yeah.
However, when it starts reaching those 90 levels on the RSI, and clearly trading well above its Bollinger Band, it's due for a pullback. Now, when that pullback's going to happen, I don't know, right? But what we can do is we can take advantage of the hype around it. We can take advantage of those initial pops. But essentially what I'm saying is take your profits early on these stocks. You know, it is more important than, you know, other names that we trade because it is so overbought on the daily.
Yes, sir.
At any moment, this thing could flop, and it could flop hard because it's so overbought. So let's see if we can play it both ways. You know, if it breaks out above these levels, play the long, take our quick money, and if we identify a short opportunity, we can take advantage of that as well. But the main point is let's take our profits early. A last name that I'll be keeping an eye on is Baba. So Baba was very dead yesterday for the most part. Kind of traded sideways, and it's been doing this for the past couple of days. However, today we're actually getting a nice gap up. I'm not sure if there's any. Oh, Alibaba stock price cut to 270 from 300, yet it's gapping up. So there you go. It's gapping up about 4 points. But what I like about it is it's coming into a key technical area. Baba has been beaten down by the daily 8 of May. If you're looking at my chart here, and right now you're gapping up to yesterday's highs, which is right on the 8 of May. So I bring this up to say if Baba can actually find some strength today, it has the potential to break out of its 8 of May today. There's huge support down here at 210 and also at 220, and there's potential that it could hold. So the way that I would play Baba, I would look for a long. If it breaks out above around 229.86, you can throw your stops around 229, you know, in the teens, around 10 or maybe even 229. So you're looking at Baba around a point risk. But as you know, Baba can rip 1 points, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, no problem.
That's true.
And it's been kind of dead right now. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Baba to have a big move. So let's see if we can have that play out today. A lot of the other names that were on my watch list, Alex has already mentioned, so I won't go over it too much. He, you know, laid out the full game plan of how to play it. So those are going to be the names of kind of the additions that I'm making to it. So I would say, you know, last name is Tilray. Last name I wanted to go over. It's gapping up again. What can I say?
What can you say?
Finally broke out of that 1272 range. Finally got out of it. Traded at $14 a little earlier. Currently trading at $13.82. So the way we could play it, we could look for a long here. It's just now breaking out of this flag now. But the way we could play it, watch for longs around $14. Play stops around $13.80, $13.70. You're looking at a 20-30 cent risk. And let's watch it fly. It's currently being traded pretty heavily right now. You're doing about 50,000 shares on this candlestick alone. So it looks like it wants to be, you know, have some volatility in it during the day. So that's also going to be on my A list, along with a lot of the ED names as well. So
very nice, very nice. So, all right, guys, mark up your charts, support and resistance zones. Pick your top 2, top 4. laser focused on these stocks, and let's go get it. Everyone on, oh, look at Neo. Just ripped to the upside. So, with that being said, everyone on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Oh.